Okay, the idea of what we're doing, we want to add a button here to allow a currently logged in user, or when a user is viewing their own profile, to add a new image. And when they click on the add button, we display a photo widget that allows them to add, crop, resize, and upload their image. So let's go back to VS Code, and the first thing that we need to do is check to see if the profile we've loaded is the currently logged in user. And one of the things I love about MobX is how ridiculously easy it is to achieve certain things like this. So we know, for example, that if a user's logged in, inside our user store is a user object. And in our profile store, if we've loaded someone's profile, then we're going to have that profile object. So therefore, we have both of the bits of information we need to work out if the logged in user or the profile we're viewing is the currently logged in user. And therefore, you should be thinking about using a computed property for something like this. And that's exactly what we'll do. So we'll add get and then say is current user. And then we can check to see if we have both the user in the user store and the profile in the profile store. So we can say if store, and we'll bring this in from store, and we'll get our user store and user, and we'll also make sure that we've got list.profile. And if we have both of these, then we can say we want to return, and we'll say store.userstore.user.username is equal to list.profile.username. And this will, of course, return true if these two usernames match. And what we'll also do is return false if we do not have either a user or a profile. So then we'll head back to our profile photos component. And inside here, what we'll do is we will bring in our profile store to get that property that we've just created. So we'll say profile store equals use store. And what we'll also do inside here is we'll just destructure the is current user. So we'll add a colon, curly brackets, and get the current user from the store. And what we'll also do is add some local state here. And we'll add a property called add photo mode. And we'll add a function called set add photo mode. And we'll set this equal to use state. And what we'll do is we'll make some changes to our header here. We need to have a button on the right hand side, a header information on the left hand side, and we want it to line up correctly. Now, playing around with semantic UI, the only way I've found to do this easily is to use the grid at the top so that we can display the header on the left and the button on the right. The float doesn't work so well outside of a grid here. So what we'll do is we'll add a grid, and we'll need to add the grid to the existing imports. And then inside here we can add a grid.column, and we'll give it a width equal to 16. We want it to take up the whole width of the browser, and then we can have our header. So I'll cut this and paste it in here, and we're going to say the header is floated to the left. And under this, what we'll do, we'll check to see if this is the current user, and we'll add the double ampersand and parentheses, and then we'll add a button. And we'll float this one to the right, and we'll make it basic. We'll give it content equal to, and then we'll add an expression, and we'll check to see if we're in the add photo mode. So we'll add a ternary, and if we are in add photo mode, we'll give the user the option to cancel, and if not, then we'll say add photo. And let's bring some of this down because it's falling off the screen. And then we'll add an on click, and in here we'll set the set add photo mode, and we'll pass in the opposite of whatever this is. So we'll say add photo mode. And of course we need to tell our state what type it is, and we can do that by giving it an initial value of false. And then below this grid column we're going to need to add another grid column. So we'll say grid.column, and once again we'll give it a width equal to 16. And what we'll do is we'll check to see if we're in the add photo mode, and again we'll use a ternary operator here, open parentheses, And for now, we'll just add a placeholder saying photo widget goes here. And then we'll add a colon after the parentheses, open parentheses, and then we'll just cut our card group and paste it inside the parentheses there. And let's try reformatting, see how we're doing. That looks okay. And what we should be able to do is test this small piece of functionality. So obviously when we're testing this, we want to make sure that only the currently logged in user sees the add photo button. So I'm logged in as Bob, I'm viewing Bob's profile. If I click on photos, I've got the option to add photo, and we see the photo widget goes here. And if we click on cancel, we go back to the user's images. If we go to activities and let's click on Tom's profile, then clicking on photos here should not allow us to add photos, of course. So that's what we're looking for right now. What we'll take a look at next is creating the photo upload widget.